Hi, everybody. Welcome to TFT Tarot for today. Divine Dabblings with Oberon and Banshee. But it's just me, Oberon, today. I'm doing my emotional exchanges. It's my weekly reading for all the signs of the zodiac, sun, moon, or rising. And I try to tell you what's going on in your emotional life, whether it's about just emotional situations or possibly relationships of one sort or the other. So I do two cards. That first card is from the top of the deck and reveals that idea of that energy or vibration that's around you or coming to you this week. And then the bottom of the card is answering the question, will you be lucky in love, romance, sexuality, anything relating to the emotions? But usually getting lucky has a specific meaning. So let's get started. And as I said, this reading is for the signs of the zodiac. So we're going to start with Aries, sun, moon, or rising. Aries, what is that emotional vibe or energy that's coming to you this week? And it's the Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups, it says, by the way, I'm using the Final Rose, which is a little bit of a novelty to style deck, but I get good readings from it, and it's beautiful. Nice tones of red and pink. There's a gold gilt on the sides. What's not to like? So at any rate, it has some of its own keywords at the bottom, and Eight of Cups, it says self-elimination. And of course, what that really means is that maybe, you know, this week is not the week for you to feel the vibe around you. Maybe to go find something else. Maybe it's a different vibe you're looking for, or maybe you're just moving from that vibe that seems so certain for most people. It's not for you, though, Aries, for some reason. Now, from the bottom of the deck, of course, will you be lucky? And it's the Ten of Wands. So, Wands says you'll have to work at it. But it's the Ten of Wands, and the Ten of Wands is a release of burdens or obligations. And so it's saying you may not have to work hard at it, because it may be that just by freeing up some of the obligations or things that are kind of holding you back, you may find that chance to get lucky. All right, let's move on to Taurus then. Sun, moon, or rising. What is the vibe or energy coming to the Taurians this week? And it's the Four of Pentacles. It says possessive. So the vibe coming to Taurians, boy, this kind of fits for Taurians, is that you really want to hold on to what it is that's making you happy right now. You may not be feeling like you need anything else, or that you expect to receive anything else. And you're just wanting to possess tightly what you do have. And so that certainly does seem to be, maybe indicative that, there could be some jealousy things going on. You really want what you want, Taurus, and sometimes it may affect other things. Like, for example, will you be lucky? And probably not. Page of Mirrors is swords, and swords is no. But the Page of Swords is upright. It says gossip. And that's, of course, the Page of Swords is maybe a talkative one, perhaps. This could just be saying, I think, to me, that Page of Swords means there's some diplomacy going on, and that maybe you find yourself not being the diplomatic one, and therefore squelching some chances at being lucky. Okay, let's move on to Gemini then. Sun, moon, or rising. Gemini, what kind of energies, vibration, essence coming to you? And will you be lucky? Alrighty, so what's coming, Geminis? It's the reversed Knight of Wands. the front runner, but it's reversed. So you're backing off maybe in terms of romantic situations or emotional situations. You may not be feeling your charisma. You may not be feeling like you are especially attractive, sexy, or alluring to your potential object. So your vibration is you feel like an ugly duckling of sorts. Sorry, Gemini, you're not into it. But will you be lucky? And it's another page. It's the Page of Pentacles. And it says, yes, but you'll have to pay for it. You'll pay for it somehow. And the Page of Pentacles upright says the optimist. It may be saying that you have to really spend some time really massaging the situation, looking at the brighter points and figuring out how to maximize their possible potentials. So good luck with that, Gemini. We will move on to Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Cancer, Cancer, Cancer. What is the vibe or energy coming for the moon children? Children of the moon. And of course, I'm simpatico with Cancers as it is a fellow water sign to me, being Scorpio. So enough talk. What's coming to the Cancerians? What is that vibe? And oh, you get a card that we had in our last reading, but for you it'll be different. It is that Page of Pentacles again. And so the vibe coming to you really is being optimistic, being explorative in a way, looking deeper below the surface and trying to figure out what it really means to you. The idea of this energy of feeling maybe love is bound to come to you. That's what optimism is about. Will you be lucky? And it's a major arcana, so that says good luck, but it's the sun reversed. But even when the sun is reversed, it's a good card. There's nothing really very bad about it. So essentially, this is saying, think of bright things, think of brightening your day, think of brightening your day by trying to be attractive to somebody and moving on that. You will be lucky. All right, so let's move on now to Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Fire sign, just like Aries or Sagittarius. What is the vibrant energy for Leo? Knight of Swords, meathead. So the Knight of Swords can be a little bit sharp and to the point, but not necessarily appreciative of everything. I'd like to think that, some of the Swords qualities can offer to that, but the Knight is really about a disposition of movement and sort of moving towards something. So this may be saying somebody is playing to keep here and maybe they're being a little bit more forceful than they need to be. Is that you, Leo? Are you being forceful in emotional attentions to others? Or is somebody trying to mac on you? Will you be lucky? And it's a major arcana, so it means good luck. It's the Empress, but reversed. And the meaning is more likely than not that this is a time for you to take care of yourself, to really look for what's best for you, whether that is the possibility of, getting lucky in your relationship or in a new one. It's really about doing what's really right for you, what will really build character for you, not necessarily a fling, even if they are fun. All right, Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. What is the vibrant energy coming to the Virgos? Don't fail me now, cards. Virgo, sun, moon, or rising. What's coming towards you vibration-wise? And it's the Nine of Wands, upright, meeting the parents. So this is sort of like something you have to be prepared about. What this could be saying is that the vibes coming to you is telling you you have to be ready for opportunities, especially if they are about romantic things. You might have to be prepared for the new status quos that could be coming, keeping up with things, realizing that maybe some things will be a challenge and maybe you'll have to do your best. Mr. O is choking a little bit. All right, so will Virgo be lucky? And once again, it's major arcana the sun, so it means good luck. And I think it's pretty much the same thing. I'm thinking this is saying put out your best stops, especially when considering, the previous card. Be sunny. Don't be convinced that you are expectant of the best. Accept what does come. It's going to work out. Okay, so it's Libra. Sun, moon, or rising. What is the Viber energy, emotionally speaking, coming to Libra? It's the Two of Cups, and it's upright. So there's an idea here that maybe you are harmonizing or you're finding yourself really attracted to somebody. Everything feels right. You sort of feel like there's just some great compatibility. You almost feel like you're really in unison. That's what's coming to you, this energy, maybe from someone your own relationship. But will you be lucky? And it's a major arcana, so it means maybe it's the contestant. The contestant is the Fool, but it's reversed. And so the idea is good luck. You may be lucky, but there may be something unexpected about this that maybe puts a little bit of a slant on it. Like maybe something is okay, but it's not exactly what you expected, and that there may be some other message in there. This is me, the cautious Scorpio, telling you that, Libra. Speaking of Scorpio, we are now on Scorpio, sun, moon, or rising. What is the vibration that is coming to the Scorpios this week? And it's the King of Cups, the single parent. So Scorpio, the energy that's coming to you says, this is a time for you to put on your best manners, to put on your most charming abilities, and to look for those who need your special benevolent touch, your kindness. Scorpio, this is about you finding opportunities to show people you care because they exist in your life, not because they're your lover or they're your child or your grandparent, but because they are a person deserving the kindness you have to offer. Will you be lucky, Scorpio? And it's a wand, so you'll have to work at it, but it's that Nine of Roses meeting the parents. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, be prepared. And that doesn't mean, checking into birth control or things like that, but it could. But this is saying really, there's an opportunity here, but you maybe have to really understand all the ramifications of that and kind of hold steady with what you're really going for. Is keep what your object in mind is about. Don't be dissuaded, Scorpio. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. What is the vibe or energy coming to the Sagittarius? Nine of Swords, blindsided. You may be feeling that something that you thought was really, emotionally great for you. Maybe it's a relationship. It's not necessarily a love relationship, but maybe it's a relationship with good friends or with people you know in your family or your coworkers. But be prepared to realize that there's something disappointing going on there, and that maybe you may find that somebody is making their problems your problems, not because they're evil and want to share that with you, but because of the magnitude of maybe suffering or harm they're feeling. You might feel you have to really do a little bit more compassion with somebody. Will you be lucky, Sagittarius? And it's Wands, so yes, but you'll have to work at it. It's the Four of Roses, that's the Wands. And I think you'll have to work at it means making something comfortable, making something alluring. It's that party situation, that foundation of family that has great things going on and that is sort of a nexus pulling you in to a bit of happiness and a sense of belonging. And if you can master that, maybe you'll be lucky, Sagittarius. All right, let's move on to Capricorn. Sun, Moon, or Rising, Capricorn. Earth sign, heavily involved in my chart. Just have to mention that. Rising and moon sign for this Scorpio. All right, Capricorn, what vibe is coming to you? And it's the King of Wands. It's upright. It says executive producer. The King of Wands, in this instance, is saying, really, you have the ability right now to be as charming and brave and charismatic as you need to be, a dash of nobility. You're moving in on something that maybe is a furtherance of your own relationship or is the beginning of something new, but there's a brave challenge component going on here. This might be feeling like really you've come to a point where either you recognizing a relationship you need to have or a development in your relationship that you need to have and that you want. So will you be lucky? Good luck. It's the Hermit. ITM, in the moment. Although it's possible, the good luck thing, this may be the moment where really it's really going to be more about you putting yourself in that moment and thinking some deeper thoughts about your relationships, any or all of them, or also about where you see yourself going in a relationship, one you have or one you're trying to have. Good luck, Capricorn. And moving down to the end of the wire, we are at the penultimate sign, Aquarius. Aquarius, what's coming for you? What vibration of emotionality is going to show up in your life this week? It's the reversed King of Swords. It says the intellectual, but it's reversed. You may be having a hard time with a decision about something that's very strongly emotional for you, emotional, and that maybe there's something purposeful about this to the idea that it really does need to be clarified as much as possible. It may be that you don't really have an understanding about something and you need to probe deeper. This could be big it could have big ramifications for your emotional life one way or the other. Will you be lucky? And it's one, so you'll have to work at it, but it's the reversed Three of Wands. Next destination, it says. So the Three of Wands, of course, often talks about opportunities, challenges, a wave you need to catch. But this is saying maybe it's going to be harder to do that. Matching up qualities of yourself that you feel work with your situations just may not be sound this week. There's something maybe that's just throwing off your timing, I think. Aquarius, you're just not quite totally in the moment as the previous sign had in their cards. All right, so let's get on with the end then. We are at Pisces. Sun, moon, or rising. What is that vibe coming to the Pisces? Hope it's a good one. And it's the Four of Pentacles. So for Pisces, the vibe is really maybe holding on to something that maybe there could be some things going on that are challenging in your relationships. It could be anything. It could be children deciding to move out. It could be you deciding to move out, but wanting to take as much of what you feel is yours with you. This is about strongly charged feelings that also display into personal needs and struggles, what you want, what you fear to lose. So there's going to be some challenges for the Pisces in this regard. Will you be lucky? And it's Wands again. You will have to work at it. It's once again the Page of Wands, but they're reversed. No, I don't think we had the Page of Wands earlier, but we've had all the other pages. And so the reversed Page of Wands, you'll have to work at it, but it looks to me like maybe there's some circumstances working against you being lucky. It could be that you're not in the best communication mode and that maybe you're missing a message. Maybe you find you're not actually even being invited or included in certain things. You're going to have to work harder to be personable and put yourself in that winner's circle if that's what you're looking for. All right, then. So that was my program. And once again, I just tried to do short and sweet, get it done. There's no opening prayers, no closing prayers. But I would like to say, please watch Happy Hour tomorrow. It's on later than normal. It's on in the afternoon, Saturday at 4 p.m. Also on Sunday, watch Banshee's Material Matters at 10 a.m. We are live in the chat room for a recorded show, but it's pretty much like being live. We're all hanging out there, having our coffee, and having lots of good conversation about that reading. And then later on Sunday is our special, our regular live stream from 2 to 4 p.m. And then another week starts off with Goth Tarot and everything else we do, cards of the day. So we appreciate you staying with us. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And we'll see you next time for the Emotional Exchanges.